satire?
Well, the word satire, the Romans weren't sure where that word came from, but they had a couple theories about it. One was that it referred to a sausage. There's a story in antiquity that they had a sausage called the satura, which was a sausage stuffed with all different kinds of ingredients.
Right.
Another place they thought it came from was this ritual platter, the lanx satura, which was heaped with all different kinds of fruits and foods. And so what both of those etymologies have is a connection with kind of variety and a miscellaneous quality. And certainly if you think about the way that Jon Stewart's Daily Show mixes serious news with kind of coarse humor, laughter with outrage, it brings together a lot of different kinds of experiences, a lot of different kinds of humor, and it especially mixes the high and the low.
Right.
That's a characteristic feature of Roman satire that for them was embedded in the very word itself.
Right.
The one other thing I want to say about satire, just as I'm thinking about it now, is I mentioned the way that ancient satire can kind of, thinking about the function of ancient satire can raise questions about the function of modern satire.
Right.
Horace and Juvenal, kind of two of the primary writers of ancient satire, they were writing under the Roman emperors. That is, in a period of political repression,
right.
A totalitarian regime. And satire flourished under those political conditions because it provided a safe way of expressing politically subversive ideas, for the same reason I mentioned. The persona gives you kind of deniability for your point of view. Well, so then that actually raises the question, well, why is satire so popular in America right now? Because on the one hand, we have freedom of the press.
Right.
And somebody like Colbert or Jon Stewart, for the most part, doesn't have to worry about political retaliation for expressing their views. But there's a way in which thinking about Roman satire existing under repressive regimes, it raises the question, at least, of what's motivating our interest in satire. And it kind of invites us to ask, or to think about how what's very popular right now is satire connected to news satire. And so it makes you wonder if kind of the audiences that enjoy satire, or the demand for satire, is the result of some kind of totalitarianism in traditional news outlets, for example. Is there some form of repression or silencing taking place in ordinary or mainstream news that makes satire necessary? And that would be kind of maybe a surprising thing to recognize in a country that prides itself on the freedom of expression. Another thing another question it could raise would be along the lines of, why is political satire so popular in America right now? If you think of The Daily Show, most of what it's about is politics. Could that be because there's a kind of authoritarianism to our ostensibly democratically elected political parties?
Right.
Is there something about our political system as it's currently configured that is authoritarianism, even in a democratic society? It's a kind of haunting thing about studying ancient satire alongside contemporary satire, is that if ancient satire, or historically satire flourished in a time when voices were being silenced, it sort of raises your worries about what danger there is of that in our own time as well.
Right. All right. That's very interesting. Thank you very much for the interview.
Good to talk to you.